Hey friends, in today's tutorial we're gonna crochet together the small size of the trio nesting baskets. We're gonna need two different colors of worsted yarn, 3mm hook and 4 stitch markers. To begin round 1, we're gonna start with a magic ring. So wrap the yarn around your fingers twice while making a letter X. And then insert the hook under the outer loop and above the inner loop. Pull the inner loop out and twist. Take everything off your fingers and chain 1. And now we have the magic ring ready for round 1. So now to begin round 1, I'm gonna work into the magic ring 8 single crochet stitches. But for the first one, before finishing the stitch, I'm gonna introduce my second color over the current yarn. Now I'm gonna be crocheting over the second color. This will give me a thick base for my basket. After finishing the stitches of round 1, I'm gonna pull on the magic ring to close it tight. And then I'm gonna slip stitch into the first stitch of the round to join the two ends. For the slip stitching, I'm gonna go under the 2 loops of the V and always making sure that we are carrying our second color along with us. I will also be working around the tail of the magic ring to secure it, so I'll be working under the color 2 and the tail left from the magic ring. To start round number 2, I'm gonna chain 1 and then into that same stitch where we did the slip stitch, I'm gonna go under the back loop only and do a single crochet. Now for the next stitch, I'm gonna do the first corner of my square and I'll do 3 single crochet into that same stitch and always working into the back loop of the stitch. We're gonna mark the middle stitch of these 3 stitches with our stitch marker. Next, into the following stitch, I'm gonna work a single crochet into the back loop. And then we're gonna work another corner, so 3 single crochet into the back loop of the next stitch. And mark the middle one with your stitch marker, so that will be our second corner. One single crochet into the following stitch, and then third corner with 3 single crochet into the same stitch, always working into the back loop of the previous row. single crochet into the next stitch, and then into the last stitch we're going to do our fourth corner, so 3 single crochet into the back loop and marking the middle one for our corner. Now we're gonna slip stitch into the first stitch of the round, making sure that we go under both loops of the V and carrying our yarn, the color 2 with us, and then chain 1. Now for round 3, I'm gonna start by working a single crochet into that same stitch where we did the slip stitch, but we will be working under the back loop only of that stitch. Into the next stitch we're gonna work a single crochet into the back loop, and then we are at a stitch marker, so into that stitch we're gonna work 3 single crochet into the same stitch, again working into the back loop. So throughout this pattern we're working the single crochets into the back loop only. Now place your stitch marker into the middle of these 3 stitches, and then for the next 3 stitches we're going to do a single crochet into the back loop of 1 for each. And then we're at a stitch marker, so we're gonna do 3 single crochet into the back loop and placing the marker back into the middle of these 3 stitches. And then we're going to repeat the same thing for the other 2 sides of the square. So after finishing round number 3, we're going to repeat what we did there for round 4, 5, 6, and 7. So for 4 more rounds, we're going to work a single crochet into each stitch, and when we come to the corner, we work 3 single crochet into the same stitch, always working into the back loop. So I'll meet you at the end of round 7. Here is my base after working 7 rounds in total. Now for round 8, I'm gonna start working single crochet into the back loop of each stitch without doing any increase. So I'll go a single crochet into each of the sides, and when I come to the corners, I'll continue with a single crochet into each stitch. This way my base is gonna start rounding up to start forming the sides of my basket. Now after finishing round 8, we're gonna repeat this round for 2 more rounds. So round 8, 9, and 10 are made by just working single crochet into each stitch. So I'll meet you at the end of round 10. I'm just finishing up round 10. At the end of the round, I'm gonna slip stitch with color 1, and then I'm gonna chain 1 with color 2. Now I'm ready to start the modified spike stitch. So if we look at round 10 right here, this is the last stitch that we have just made. I'm gonna go underneath it with 1 row right there. So go 1 row below the last stitch. This is where we're gonna draw our first loop, and then we're gonna go 1 more row below and draw the other loop. So go under the last stitch that we have just done and pull a loop, and then down 1 more row and pull another loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops at once. This is the first stitch of round 11, so we're gonna skip 1 stitch, which is where we did the slip stitch, and go into the next and do a single crochet into the back loop. And of course we're carrying color 1 with us. Keep the thickness of the basket uniform throughout. Now we're gonna do another modified spike stitch under the single crochet that we have just done. So go 1 row below and pull a loop, and then 1 more row below and draw another loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. Now skip 1 stitch in the current round, this one, and into the next one do a single crochet into the back loop. Repeat the modified spike stitch under the single crochet we've just done. We go 1 row and pull a loop, and then down 1 more row and pull a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. Skip 1 stitch and then a single crochet into the next. So we are always working the modified spike under the single crochet we have just finished. Now keep repeating the modified spike followed by the single crochet for round 11, ending the round with a single crochet because we have already started the round with a spike or a modified spike. So we're gonna end the round with a single crochet into the back loop on top of that modified spike stitch. After finishing round 11, we're gonna slip stitch into the first stitch, and we're still working with color 2. I'm gonna chain 1 and then do a row or a round of single crochet into the back loop of each stitch. At the end of round 12, I'm gonna slip stitch with color 2 and then switch to color 1 while chaining 1. Now I'm gonna repeat rows 11 and 12 with color 1. So I'm gonna go into the last stitch that I have just made in round 12, work underneath it with 1 row and pull a loop, and then go 1 more row below and pull another loop, and then we're gonna yarn over and pull through all 3 loops and finish our stitch. skip the first stitch of the previous round. That's where we did the joining, and then into the next stitch do a single crochet. Now work under that stitch by going into the row below and pulling a loop, and then going 2 rows below and pulling a loop, and then finishing the stitch. Then a single crochet into the following stitch. So we're doing the same thing we did in round 11. So keep repeating the 2 stitches for this round until you're done with this round. And for round 14 we're gonna do a round of single crochet into the back loop only, using the same color. So I'll meet you at the beginning of round 15 to start it together. We're gonna start round 15 by chaining 1 using color 2, and then start working a round of modified spike stitches, same as we did in round 13, but using color 2. So as we keep working those modified stitches, we're gonna notice that the modified stitch that we currently work is placed between the 2 modified spike stitches 2 rows below. At the end of round 15, I'm gonna slip stitch to join. And then for the next 4 rounds, I'm gonna be working with color 2, working rounds of single crochet into the back loop only. At the end of round 19, I'm gonna slip stitch to join. And then I'm gonna chain 1 with color 1. And for the last round of this project, I'm gonna work slip stitch with color 1, working under both loops of the stitch below to make the edging. So a slip stitch throughout the round. And this is the final look for our basket. This is the small size, and if you want the directions for the medium and large baskets, you will find them on my blog, and I'll leave a link to the blog down in the description box. And you can also find an ad-free PDF copy of the pattern on my Ravelry store. This is the one that we did together with the white bottom and finishing it with the dark or the gray color. And this one I started with the gray color in the bottom and finishing with the white color on top. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and activate the bell so you get notified when there are new patterns or new tutorials uploaded on the channel. Until next time, keep crocheting, take care, and I'll see you soon.